Many may be wondering if now is the time to deploy back into the crypto markets. We are seeing a very, very small short-term bounce, but the question is, will it be short-lived? We'll have a look at all the various different charts, altcoins, as well as Bitcoin and the stock market as well, since that drives all of the markets. And then we'll assess whether we're going to get some lower highs on the low time frames, which should still theoretically tie in with higher lows on the higher time frame. So you need to understand the way that all these time frames mix and match and intertwine with each other during these cycles, because for the most part, most of you are going to be wanting to trade alongside the high time frame trends, which still remain fully towards the upside. So let's get straight into the show content. Smash your like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. Hourly charts are starting to bounce. This is at least from the coins that are in the top 100 listings over here. If you look at the daily time frame, still some drawdown over there. Some of the weekly gains have been given up, but the monthlies are still very much towards the upside with huge gains. So if you were in crypto before November, well, you should be still massively in profit, right? So the question is, how risky is it to be entering into the market right now? And is the cycle over? That's probably what a lot of people are asking. Sometimes you get these dips that lead people to think and believe that the cycle has topped and come to its end. I don't necessarily think we're at that point yet, but if we do go any lower, you may start to get those kind of feelings, right? So if we have a look at this over here, this is just an indicator that shows the current risk level across Bitcoin, and it moves through these ebbs and flows, right? Generally speaking, when you have the blues, is typically when you want to reaccumulate. And as you move into the yellows is where things just start to get heated and mark up towards the upside. And that's pre-parabolic, right? And then you move into the oranges and the reds, and that's usually where you start to reach the peak or the end of the cycle, and things start to get incredibly heated. And it's done this and measured this every single cycle top. Now, it's using a whole bunch of different metrics, as you can see listed above over here. Anything from, various different price metrics, on-chain metrics, social indicators, YouTube views, subscribers. We're looking at, regression levels, fear and greed, running return on investment in terms of where crypto is situated at cyclically. So it considers a whole bunch of information. And at the end of the day, where we're currently situated, if you zoom into this current period over here, is we're actually only printing the 0.4 to 0.5 right now as it currently stands. So according to this, would probably only be about just over halfway through the cycle, which is more or less what we've indicated has been the case for quite some time. Now, typically speaking, your best reaccumulation zones or your best times to be getting into the market, of course, is going to be in those blue periods, which is going to be the bear market bottoms. When you have those deep dark blues and a couple of light blue periods is kind of where you can start to allocate into the market. Usually when you have the 0.5 to 0.6 or the 0.4 to 0.5, which is our current level that we're situated in, that's more kind of your just business as usual. You just want to be sitting in the trend, holding your positions and not trying to get too fancy jumping in and out. Now, that's currently where we're situated. As you can see what comes next, there are choppy periods, right? Of course, there's going to be choppy periods over here, but as long as you had established your positions a lot earlier, you're probably good to just continue to hold on and then only start to look to distribute when we start to print the dark oranges and the red colors, right? Which come in towards the end of these cycles. So zipping in on the last cycle, that means we could be situated somewhere within this period. If I just pop it on and off the screen, there you go, the 0.4s to 0.5s, you can see would denote to this time period in 2017. Let's have a look at the 2020 period. If you look at that cycle over there, and we'll pop off that 0.4 to 0.5, well, you can see it's popping around within this sector over here. There were some dips that came into that, and you can see what came next. Therefore, I don't necessarily think in terms of your longer term positions that there's current major cause for concern. We have seen, of course, a little bit of a reset in the fear and greed. Definitely not as much as I would personally like. I would rather see this come down totally into the neutral zone, but we've dropped from extreme greed now into just greed at 74. And this indicator has been questionable many of the times where we actually wonder, does this thing actually still work? I remember when the market was collapsing back in August, we were saying we were in extreme greed. So anyway, with that being said, point is, if you look over here, generally speaking, your bull markets tend to occur with the fear and greed sticking around that 70 mark or higher for prolonged periods of time. That's what we saw over here. If you look at the 2017-18 cycle, you have the 2020-21 cycle, and then, of course, most recently. So we'll keep an eye out on that as things unfold. It is all factored into this particular indicator over here. And I think that sometimes you'll get a lot more information by studying things like this, like looking at the Bitcoin dominance, right, and the USDT dominance, and we can study what price action is doing around that. So what's interesting over here is we're no longer going to be looking at this necessarily on the weekly time frame like we did for such a long period of time, because we wanted to see the breakdown from that rising wedge formation, which would have signaled that now is the time to be allocated into altcoins. And of course, we got that breakdown, right? So again, just zooming in, I'll just show you, this is now on a 4-hourly chart. This is your rising wedge. We got to the apex or near the apex of that, spike through the top and immediately flushed towards the downside. And now we have a big trading range to work with. If we zoom in on a low time frame, looking at the 4-hour time frame, right? You got your trading range on the top, you have your mid range coming in over here, and then you have your range low. What's interesting to see is that the 200 MA, which governs the overall trend, has now started to roll over, and this should provide much needed resistance, right? At the same time, simultaneously, that is going to meet up with the mid-range marked by the pink line. That's your 50% level over there. So could Bitcoin dominance go a little bit higher, meaning that prices drop one more time in the altcoin sector? Of course, there is a possibility USD-wise. You do get that. Watch for that next spike up that comes into here. If you do get that spike up and it's followed by an immediate rejection, you have your answer that probably this is going to continue to mark down pretty aggressively. And then we can continue that broader breakdown of the, at least the rising wedge, which is a typically bearish chart pattern, right? So currently you're initiating the very, very start of a downtrend, following what was a very, very big move. It's very common that you'll retrace towards that 50% level. And I like the confluence of how it lines up, of course, with that moving average. So that's one thing to look at over there. With the altcoin season index, of course, did reach deep into the 80 zone, which is where the majority of altcoins were outperforming Bitcoin from the top 100, right? And now you can see it has dropped back down towards that 60 mark over there. But we have seen things like this before. It correlates very, very well to looking at the altcoin dominance, and the shakeout that occurred back in 2021 looked like this. Big spike towards the upside, shook the players out, very similar to what you're seeing, of course, with the drop over here in the altcoin season index, and then immediately found some support and then led to rapid accumulation. Now, nobody has a crystal ball. There's absolutely no way to say with certainty that this is going to be a shakeout that's going to lead to parabolic advancements. All that we can do is look to the various different levels and study the information. What is the information that you study? Things like this, looking to the Bitcoin dominance to assess what happens when it hits that key level. Then trading is very much reactive, right? Once it hits this level over here, you're faced with a decision on how you're going to react, right? Are you going to tighten up your risk, or are you going to go risk on for the drop, right? We take the trades as close to the extremities as possible, as close to key levels as possible. So that's one thing to look at over there. Another thing that we can look at to determine whether it is going to play out like it did in 2021, which led to, of course, that parabolic advancement on the total or the altcoin dominance market cap over there, is we can look to the USDT dominance. And the USDT dominance has also, zooming in on the 4-hour time frame, of course, led into a pretty strong downtrend, and it's still continuing to maintain that with a series of low lows and lower highs coming into horizontal resistance over here, and of course rejecting from this level. So we'll continue to monitor as it's rejected from the zone over here. If we can start to lead back down towards these lows and hopefully lose this 3.79 level, then it's business as usual. Bull run continues. And then we line that up with what we've been seeing over here. That suggests that, you know, it's most likely sitting in that yellow zone, just like we did pre-expansion in the previous parts of the cycle. As you can see over there, pre-expansion. Here we have from the cycle before that. There it is, yellow zones over there, pre-expansion before getting into a very, very heated environment. So still looking at that over there. Bitcoin still above the 21 exponential moving average, rising towards the upside. All in all, that looks pretty good. No complaints over there. We have also the daily time frame over here with price holding that 18 exponential, which is the pink line over there, but we have lost the 9. Let's see if bulls can get this back above the 9 exponential. At the end of the day, I'd view this as a low time frame uptrend that's still caught within a range, right? So the low time frame uptrend on the 4-hour, you can see using the line of best fit without violating the trend line rules, which means we're not piercing any bodies of any candles, but only the wicks, right? If you look at the wicks over there, connecting from wick to wick over there, through this wick, but you haven't broken any bodies, and coming into those candle closes over there, you can see Bitcoin bouncing off of that. So maintaining that uptrend while simultaneously still being caught within a trading range, right? There it is. There's the trading range. So some levels to clear above. Good news that it's already got back above the monthly open. Now you need to get back above the monthly high. The monthly high is going to be the really difficult zone to reclaim, right? That's coming in around that clear $100,000 mark. You can see lining up over here around the red box over here. That's your breakdown level. Getting above that means you simultaneously reclaim the 50 EMA, which is the red line. You're still holding above the blue 200 EMA, which is a good sign. And simultaneously, it also means that you should get back above the yellow line, which is your pivot level. That will trend the RSI back towards the upside, right? The RSI never hit the 50 mark. It still could. This would occur in that environment if you do get, one more spike up in the Bitcoin dominance. Probably occurs due to the market selling off just one more time. Watch for that RSI as it hits that 50 mark over there, and price hopefully holds, these key range levels, right, which would be the blue line at about 91,000. So those are the Bitcoin levels. That's your range. Basically, Bitcoin oscillating between more or less 90,000 and about $100,000 mark. Expect that to develop as a trading range and keep looking for if you gained a level or lost a level. As it currently stands, the level lost is, of course, $100,000, but the level gained compared from just a couple of weeks ago is, of course, $90,000, right? We're holding back still above that. Not only that, but we're even above the $95,000 mark, and you can see the demand coming in over there. So it will take time to digest. Anytime that you have a very, very big move towards the upside, like we had over here, you sometimes spend almost an equal amount of time running sideways, which is pretty similar timing wise. You can see the length of that, and the length of that running sideways to digest what's happened before, possibly marking up into the next phase. The prior measured move that we had, which is still on the table, is going to be around that $108,000 mark. At the end of the day, you can still work out in terms of your range levels. So if you develop that trading range and you can successfully break above that, you see this now starts to take you a little bit higher, right? So we'll keep an eye out on that. If you look at ETH BTC, just zooming in very, very quickly, how's this one doing over here? So still rejecting. This is the key level. The very conservative people out there are best just waiting to clear the yellow line convincingly before transitioning Bitcoin into altcoins or into Ethereum, because that would confirm the first higher high, and then you can wait for the higher low. The only thing that you have to be cognizant of is that sometimes when you do get a breakout on extreme greed, you don't always get the high low down there where you would want it. Sometimes the high low may only come over here, which means you're buying the break of the trend retest. So that's your bump and run scenario on the ETH BTC chart on a weekly scale, right? So high time frame still unfolding over there. We still have price holding above the mid-range over here for ETH, which is a good sign. ETH needs to hold $3,500. That is the level, basically the line in the sand, right? But clear rejection coming from, of course, the $4,000 zone. Now we need to see time spent above 3,500 for the possible reaccumulation over there. If you look at total 3, which denotes to the altcoin sector, this minus is Bitcoin, minus Ethereum from the total cryptocurrency market cap. Well, of course, you can see you hit that 50% level, you ran through it, but the good news is that you're starting to get back above it, right? So we want to continue to monitor that it holds above this. This is essentially measured from the ranges, because this was your predominant range. Previously, you can see resistance. This created this was essentially the pivot level that led to an explosive move towards the upside. So that is essentially viewed as the new range low. This is the range high resistance, and this is your mid-range. If bulls can maintain closing price action above this mid-range on total 3, which means they need to keep closing price above $970 billion, that will bode well for continuation. So similar to ETH holding above 3.5, you basically just want to see a couple of candle closes over here, create your next order block or bull flag, and that should digest enough of a move to get things to go higher, right? If you look at the others chart as well, very, very similar. Big move, breaks above the resistance level. You've back tested that. You've held it as support. Not only that, but you've also broken, of course, the downsloping trend line over here, which is the neckline of that cup and handle formation. So holding above that basically is a very, very good sign. That's all you want to see. A little bit of a second chance for those people who missed out on the initial breakout, right? Breakouts are a very, very difficult thing to trade because, you're taking on a lot of risk with a very far invalidation on those trades. And you never know if price is going to do this or if it's just going to continue to rip. And this is why I preach getting into the market way earlier, like we did all the way down here. And you had second opportunities all the way back here, getting into the altcoin sector, as opposed to, trying to buy these breakouts where you're taking on massive, massive risk. At the end of the day, this is a second chance because now you have a strong invalidation, which you can pretty much put below this candle's low, right? On this week's low, if you want a very tight stop loss, that's where you're placing it. We want to see candle closes above 350 billion on total 3. And then we're expecting this to go much, much higher through the rest of the cycle. Quickly looking at the total 3 again compared to Bitcoin, still holding up over there, back testing into what was the prior resistance, holding at the break of structure point over there. That's good. Same story for the others measured against Bitcoin as well, right? Break of structure, just a question of do you come a little bit lower? Nevertheless, you're looking for your high low to form somewhere around here before continuation up towards the top of the trading range, which is going to be 0.26. Simply put, what this means is if these charts go up, altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, and the only way that altcoins outperform Bitcoin is in the environment where Bitcoin dominance is pretty much rolling over, right? Rolling over like that. So very, very key. This is why I start off with Bitcoin dominance today. We need to keep an eye out on this. It's super, super important. And also most specifically, I think we also have to look to the total cryptocurrency market cap, because this is the true signal indicator of whether new money is coming into the market. I actually have to bring another screen across here. And let's actually have a look at that. Let's refresh this because we need to see what is going on over here with the exchange volume. Is the exchange volume continuing towards the upside? We usually look to this in combination with the total cryptocurrency market cap. So you can see daily exchange volume, 7-day moving average is still holding up much higher than what it was a couple of weeks ago, where we were trying to flip, of course, that all-important $100 billion mark. Now it's holding above $125 billion, so still $25 billion more in terms of exchange volume than what we saw just a couple of weeks ago. And that is a healthy sign, right? That's a healthy sign. Let's go back to total over there. So let's see, let's monitor this over here. Previously, while this move was advancing and we had this kind of parabolic advancement running, I said that, this is where I'll be placing my stop loss. It would be at this $2.99 trillion mark. Basically, I wouldn't want to see that level taken out because as you get more and more extended, you can get these wipeout candles like we've seen over here. You don't want to trail it below the previous week's low, but probably from 2 weeks ago, which would have been there, because you can get these candles, right, flushing you and then immediately closing back up here and then running it higher up. It's designed, the market is designed to take most of the people's money away most of the time, right? Just remember that, especially when you move into the euphoria stage, things become increasingly more difficult. So all in all, that's looking at the overview of the market, the overall market. We need a bit more time for things to unfold. We'll have a look at a whole bunch of the altcoins as well today, specifically on the low timeframes to see, in the short term, are we going to experience a bit more of a pullback, or is that it, right? Is the low in, is the bottom in? So also to remind you, if you do not have a place to trade, I always recommend open up multiple different exchanges. There is a non-KYC exchange called BitUnix. You can see over here, they're offering a generous 20% rebate, right? So you're getting up to 400 USDT, depending on how much you deposit on the exchange. And you can win a trip to Dubai. There's a link in the description below. That campaign runs for another 19 days, right? You'll win a trip to Dubai and a $6,000 prize pool. So you make a small deposit. For example, if you put in $1,000, you'll get $200. You put in $2,000, they're going to give you $400. That's free money to trade with BitUnix. Quickly touching on the stock market, since they drive all markets over here, and the stock market is also in a pullback, you can see the stock market for the S&P 500 is coming directly into major support over here. So let's keep an eye out and see what the reaction is. We always want to trade as close to the key level as possible, and that's a pretty key level for the S&P 500 futures chart. That's your prior tops over there. Let's see how it holds up. Even if it does lose that at the end of the day, remember the trend is your friend, and the trend still looks like this with high highs and high lows, right? So you could still possibly put in another high low over there. But first and foremost, this is the first and closest key level, which is going to be that 6,000 mark for the S&P 500 futures, right? NASDAQ, very, very similar. Here's the key level, 500. Nothing's changed over there. Dow Jones, key levels coming in at 43,300. That's your yellow line over there. You want to see a high-low form above that level. If you start to lose that level, you're coming for the CME gap. You can get wicks through that come into there, but I wouldn't want to see too many closing candles down in that section. You have, of course, Coinbase as well, in also a massive cup and handle formation, giving latecomers yet another opportunity to success, right? And that would be buying as close to the breakout level as possible, between 275 and about 300. You know, this should give you the similar gains to what you'd be getting on Ethereum, right? But of course, you have to buy this on a brokerage account, which is usually pretty rock solid, right? So safe, sometimes often safer than what exchanges are. I also wanted to touch on Tesla because we were monitoring Tesla for quite a long period of time. And we spoke about, you know, how this started to break that downsloping trend line over here, and you got the perfect back test, and there was a possibility for an upside move. You're now getting that upside move and keeping things very, very simple based on the rectangle. You actually have a measured move in place over here for how high Tesla could go. You know, 642 is 100% on the table. This is quite a high time frame chart. I'm looking on the weekly scale, and it's got a lot of price history over here. And you can see that you know, it's playing out similar to what we've seen previously with the previous moves up, right? You've had previously had these big moves up, short consolidation, big move up, and then you have the correction, right? You have a big move up, short consolidation, big move up, short consolidation, possibly at the highs. And if it can hold above here, you can target up to about 642. So remember that when it comes to Tesla, Tesla is not just simply a car company. These guys have their finger deep in the AI sector, right? So possibly on target to become as big, if not bigger, than NVIDIA in the future. So that is Tesla for you over there. If you do want to trade these alternatives, right? Crypto stocks, commodities, forex pairs. Remember, there is a link below as well for Prime XBT. Similar to BitUnix, they're offering an amazing 20% sign-up deposit based on how much you want to deposit. So put in 10,000, they give you 2,000. Just check the terms and conditions. It's limited. I mean, I don't know if you put in $1 million, if they're going to give you $200,000 for free. It's probably got some sort of a cap there, but great option over there as well for those of you looking for a new place to trade. All right, let's get into the altcoin sector. So, okay, WIF. Okay, this is one of the positions that I'm still building, and it's based on the mid-range over here on a weekly scale. I'm just going to quickly highlight over here. You know, you got your range high, very, very clear level. You got your range low, and then you got your mid-range, right? So we're trying to build a long position over here based around the mid-range. There is some work that needs to be done on the low time frames. You need to reclaim certain levels, but when you zoom out and you look on a high time frame, it feels like it's been a long week, but it's crazy. It's still young in the week. We're only Wednesday, on Wednesday morning right now, UAE time, and there's still 4 days and 17 hours left to go, and a lot of price action can occur within that time period, right? You can see a lot of volatility and a lot of movement. So I'm going to continue to hold on to this long trade over here. Of course, if it does come any lower than this wick over here, I do risk getting stopped out of that position, at which point, you know, you might meet this trend line, and then we have to reattempt the trade into that area over there, which would be, you know, as low as $2. So that's the WIF trade over there. Big difference between, in terms of percentage, between $2.89 at current price, and if it were to come all the way back down to $2, that's a 33% price move, right? So this is the reason I'm attempting the trade over here first. If it fails and it does happen to come down here, I will probably look for yet another entry and just quickly cut that position. So that is WIF. We can have a look at a bunch of the other coins as well. Just quickly sticking still on the high time frame. Remember, a lot can happen in a trading week, right? As it currently stands, Ethereum is still holding that breakout level. This is the breakout of the cup and handle, the breakout of the downsloping trend line, also known as the neckline from that cup and handle. And this one has much, much higher implied targets. Let's actually just quickly, once and for all, put this as the target. How high could Ethereum go from this breakout point? So you're breaking the neckline, that would take it just shy of $7,000, right? So if Ethereum does actually confirm the breakout and doesn't deviate back into the trading range, remember what I showcased a little bit earlier, the $3,500 level is very, very key. And if you can simultaneously break out of this falling wedge over here, ETH becomes quite a banger trade. This is a huge move that you'd be looking at. That's about an 88% move. So this is why I'm also, looking for higher beta plays within some of the meme coin sectors. And, some of this, I dropped a whole bunch from the boys club. It's called the boys club, Matt Fury's cartoon collection. I dropped that yesterday in the Whale Room Discord, and we up quite a lot despite the market volatility. Those coins have absolutely pumped. I'll see if I can bring that up towards the end of the show to show the rest, showcase it to the rest of you guys. Okay, let me know as well what other coins you want to have a look at. I'm going to quickly look at the major threes. So we looked at BTC, we looked at ETH. We can have a look at Solana. Solana's perfectly hit straight into that trend line over here. And similar to ETH, this is a pretty substantial price target, once leaving this cup and handle over here. This could extend all the way up to about 100 to 420. So similar to ETH, possible, it's going to trade very similar to ETH, right? 92% upside move for Solana. ETH, we said, was 88%. I'm a little bit more biased towards Solana because I think that as a blockchain and technology, they've done a lot. There's a lot of users over there. I think that it's a winner-take-all environment, firstly, and they have been winning so far for the entirety of this crypto cycle. The other reason is that we already have the BTC spot ETF. The Ethereum spot ETF has been pushed across the line. And I mean, you can only speculate that Solana would be the next one. And as long as there's speculators there to speculate what the next one may be, they might try and front run the market before it actually takes place. And then who knows, maybe Solana extends beyond these targets that we have at $423. So this is part of the reason why I'm looking towards things like Solana. We also need to quickly look towards Sui. Is Sui still okay? Is it still healthy? We'll probably have to look on the daily time frame. Let's just quickly move across onto the daily time frame over here for Sui and just see how that one's looking over there. Okay, it is still holding up. I've marked out the range levels from the bottom to the top, and this 50% level is your mid-range. That was also your previous local top before you came down to put in the high-low. So basically, I would like to see, Sui, if it could start to reclaim this key level over here, get back above the 50% level. Price-wise, that's coming in at about $3.73. I think that will be a good opportunity. Keep in mind, this had an absolutely behemoth run, right? Massive, massive moves over here. From the low, we actually got in just after the shakeout, right? We spoke about the falling wedge. It looked like it was breaking out. It was a fake breakout, came down, smashed towards the bottom side. And then based on the way that wick formed, which you can zoom into, we said very, very likely a shakeout over there. And pretty much it was onwards and upwards from that point. So how high is this run from that point? This has actually been one of the top performers, 667% to current price. And it went actually as high as 843%. These are huge moves. So Sui really putting in some serious size and some big gains over there. Okay, Injective. So I guess we can just, we can move these lot lines around a little bit. Failed breakout, similar to Ethereum over there. Now you're looking for this to hold the trading range. Let's just redraw it. Ultimately, what you want to see now in Injective, hold the trading range over here, reaccumulate, chop about a little bit. A lot of the coins are going to look like this, by the way. Chop about. They're going to have to fight hard to reclaim this breakdown level across the board. But if you can reclaim this breakdown, the breakdown level over here, then it should all be back on target to go for those high prices. And Injective, we have targets as high as about $75 over there. Okay, so essentially, when you look at all of these coins, it had a big move and it broke that trend line down. So you have the break. What you're looking out for now on the low time frames is, do you set in a lower high? Basically, most of the coins are at major support, so you could essentially long at the support, and then you can readjust, and there probably will be a lot of adjustments across the board amongst all traders as you approach these breakdown levels. Expect that this is going to delay how long it's going to take for price to start to pump out of these regions. All these breakdown levels are going to be contested. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty. Price is going to hold up probably over here. Prices will start to move up and create a trading range, and the uncertainty will come in as prices approach those breakdown levels, irrespective of which coin you're looking at. So in this instance, it's near. And basically, when price starts to approach that $7.64 region, you're probably going to see indecision occurring within the market. That's going to create a bit more chop over there. And then that's where we respond, right? We react to how price is reacting at that level, and we make our next decision. Do we take a bit of profit? Probably then reaccumulates at the mid-range, so something like that, puts in the high-low, and then possibly later on in January, you break above this key level. Remember, we've looked at the seasonality of crypto, and Ethereum specifically has its best time during January and February of the new year. So that's coming up very, very soon. So you can see how that timing wise could potentially play out like that. So a lot to look at over there. We'll have a look at a couple more coins as well. One that I wanted to mention as well, which has been absolutely ripping, which I have a small allocation into, is 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏, right? If you look at 𝗕𝗬𝗕, here it is, 𝗕𝗬𝗕 sitting at currently a market cap of $694 million. So just shy of $1 billion. These guys are essentially like the Shopify of blockchain technology, right? The Shopify for tokenizing investments, specifically for banks, right? Not only for banks, but specifically for banks. They've essentially built the infrastructure. And if you do look at this chart, it is mega, mega bullish. So I think it's one to keep an eye out on, to add to your watch list. It falls under the real world asset sector. They've also created essentially their own platform. You can go and have a look at this tweet. It's quite a long tweet over here, but they've created their own personal deal desk for private market investing. This tweet will explain everything, but banks can also onboard and come in easily, right? Just like Shopify is very quick and easy for people to build a shop online. They've basically done that, but for banks. So that is 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏. That's one of the coins that I've been looking at. Real world assets been a pretty good sector. I've been very, very surprised at the insane relative strength of Mantra. And I think I got into Mantra, very, very, very low. It was somewhere around here. Let me just check my list. I'll actually tell you guys exactly where my buy order was on Mantra. I have my portfolio list next to me. So I got into Mantra over here at 60 cents. And this has been one of my top performers, right? 60 cents, from that level over there, 60 cents. We're currently up huge on this trade, 586%. So continuing to hold. This is where you need to decide. Do you want to be, a longer term investor or short term trader within this part of the cycle? Because even when something seems extreme, this is the lesson, right? Even when something seems extreme, in a number of just days, this was, how many days was that? That's 1, 2, 3, in 4 days, in 4 days, you put in a 225% move. And you can see, if you got shaken out over here on this dip because you thought it's going to give up all of that, and immediately, back up within 2 more days, back up another 35%, back to the previous levels. It shows you the power of getting your positions early, establishing those positions, and then simply just holding on, right? That's all that you need to do. And then studying the timing cycles. That's personally how I trade. This is what I do. I establish early positions, hold on, and then ultimately look to exit when things get overheated. So let me know in the comments what other coins you want to have a look at. Yes, we can look at 𝗓𝗓. I see there is a request around 𝗓𝗓. So let's quickly pull that up. 𝗓𝗓 USDT. Okay, 𝗓𝗓 USDT. There it is. So this would be a similar example, right, to Mantra, right? Huge move up, comes down. You could have got shaken out, perfectly came back into the support level that we identified. How do we get this level? It was very simple. The 50% level from the low to the high matched up with the breakout zone. And you're seeing a lot of the altcoins playing something similar out right now. It's just that 𝗓𝗓 has been the market leader, right? So a lot of the coins are doing this right here, right now. A lot of the coins on this pullback have come back into that zone. 𝗓𝗓 is the market leader, had its big pump up. Of course, it did fail at this level. You definitely want to see this immediately get back above. Last couple of digits will be 2336, right? Get back above 2336, and that will be a sign of strength over there. If not, you need to mark out the most recent ranges. So let's quickly make some adjustments over here, and let's focus on that specifically. And what I'd be looking at is this, right? So there it is. That's the level that you want to reclaim. Get back above 2288. This is the zone. That was kind of where your previous tops were. I'm going to delete that trend line over there. This is where I want to see support found and a little bit of reaccumulation for 𝗓𝗓 if it is to hold on, right? So it would look like this. just watch for a little bit of reaccumulation. You might chop about a bit more, but that's what you want to hold. You want to deviate that and then continue to run towards the upside. We can also have a look at, WIF on a lower time frame. So my long trade that I'm currently building is essentially based around the 50% level. And I'm basically, I'm just observing to see if we're going to get a market bounce. I'm already in the trade. By the way, I'm in the trade. So I am long right now. And I need to see it do this. I need to see it reclaim. If it continues to hold under here and gain acceptance below, there is a risk that it may drop down one more time. And then, you need to look all the way down to the range low, which is going to be significantly lower. Okay, GOAT was another one that it approached its key level, dropped straight through that. Keep an eye out on it. I would say that, safer entry is if it gets back above 73 cents. That's going to start to look good. We can have a look at Turbo. I see there's a request on Turbo as well. Turbo's pumping, at least when I looked this morning. Where is it? Where's Turbo? Let's quickly find Turbo. All right, Turbo. There we go. Up 5% currently. So yeah, it's had its big breakout. Consolidating, relatively to a lot of the coins in the market, this is pretty much trading at all-time highs, right? It's not the highest ever close. The highest closes were over there, but Turbo still looks okay. You have to be able to withstand volatility if you want to trade the meme coins, right? This is essentially the price that you would pay for getting such high upside, right? The price that you pay is that you can buy a meme coin and you can experience intraday volatility of 34%, both up and down. And, over time, that's the reward for what you get. That's why you get these 2,500% moves over time, right? That's the benefit of meme coins. There's pros and cons to everything, right? The con is that, yes, there's huge intraday volatility. And if the market dumps, it comes down hard. Quickly looking at MOG over here. Look, also pretty much near all-time highs over there. Let's see if it can reaccumulate, form a higher low, and then send it again, right? So we think these are going much higher throughout the cycle. Myro all the way back down to the strong horizontal. So for those who are still looking for a meme coin to gain an entry, we've spoken about this a lot. Nothing has changed in the sense of most of these coins putting in those rounded bottoms, eventually turning into cup and handles, and then later in the cycle breaking out in a big way. So Myro back down to the, it's not the original entry. We actually got our entries down here, but for when we were preaching over here, the breakout, it's basically back to that same spot from a couple of weeks ago. Okay, let's look at some of the layer ones. We have Aptos. How's Aptos holding up? Aptos is holding up right at the mid-range over there. So you have something to work with. Basically, you could be looking for longs over here. Stops go below the most recent wick lows, right? So you definitely want to see Aptos hold this mid-range and then attempt towards the range high. Okay, what other ones do we have that were in key levels? What about Casper? Okay, Casper, if you can pick it up around 14 cents, that's a good zone. Phantom. All right, Phantom, the only concern that I have is that it deviates over here. If Phantom does deviate, you have to be aware that there's a possibility you're going to come back down to mid-range, right? So if you're marking out those range levels, that's what it would look like. There's your mid-range. You'd be coming back down to the pink box at 71. But if it does maintain, the rest of the market will do the same thing over the coming days. If it can continue to chop, reaccumulate over here, and then we seem to get an explosive move up and above this 125 for Phantom, then you had a little bit of a shakeout, came back down, and then continued towards the upside, and then you can look for much higher prices. So then it becomes a proper breakout. All right. How many tests has this been, though? One, and then we tested it over here a couple of times. This is your second major test, so you'll be going in for the third attempt again. Okay. All right, let me check the comments, guys. I just want to quickly scan through, see what you guys have over there. We can look at Rune, yes. Let's look at 𝗬𝗢𝗡 and Filecoin as well. Where's our file storage? Let's quickly scroll through. Here it is. Let's look at 𝗬𝗢𝗡, and then we'll look at Filecoin, and then we'll look at Rune. All right, so it is still, although sloppy, it's still maintaining that uptrend. Higher highs, high lows is the name of the game. There's your last closing candles on 𝗬𝗢𝗡, which is coming in at $19.71. You obviously don't want to lose that level. You want to continue to maintain price over here, and then hopefully continue up. This is following the break of the falling wedge. And then you have, of course, Filecoin as well, which is a little bit weaker than Rune. Right? I mean, a little bit weaker than 𝗬𝗢𝗡𝗧, right? So lost the top side over there, similar to Phantom. If it can't get back above the range level at $7, then you have to look down to low $5 region, just below $5, and you can probably get another entry over there on Filecoin. And then we said Rune. Let's have a look at Rune. All right. So you can see when you look at some of these coins, there's definitely a couple of coins that have come into key levels. Rune has always been a pretty sloppy chart. I think that barring this price action over here, you would have had a pretty clear range level over there. So I think that's the predominant area that you want to get above. At the time I was focusing on this. Let's just look in terms of trend. In terms of trend, you are still maintaining an uptrend. Your strong invalidation on longs would be if Rune starts to break below these lows over here. So if you get below those lows over there, that's your last major high low, right? Your clear high low. This is why I say it's a bit of a strange chart, because you can see the choppy price action over here. It doesn't match the range levels very nicely. Broke above there. I have a position in Rune, but it's just an all over the place chart. I'm not sure if it's got low liquidity or something. I'll need to look into what's the trading volume. Let's actually see. What is the trading volume on Rune? Okay. Trading volume. All right, there we go. Thorchain, 24-hour volume, 703 million. It's not bad. I mean, it's got decent trading volume. I think it's just, not a chart with massive price history. All right, the other thing that I was looking at over here is if you look at Ora or Fair Launch, right? Ora is basically partnered with these guys. What is it? Essentially, it assesses participants to through an AI chat and past transactions and social media activities to get a fair opportunity to get into a token. So it's through Ora. Ora is just launched. I'll show you the token in just a minute. It's a very transparent, community-driven process, and it basically uses AI learning. So feel free, go and have a look at that. I watched a video just now. It's pretty cool. Here's the current market cap, super low market cap, something to put on your watch list at 7.5 million. So you got Ora coin. Just launched, like literally just a couple of days ago, 24th of November. Very young trading chart over here. But in terms of the levels, watch as it gets above mid-range over here at 320. It's already done. Remember, when something launches initially, my general rule is to wait for a little bit of a pullback. And you got the typical pullback in crypto, which is going to be 70 to 80%. Usually once I see that, that's usually time to start to reaccumulate. So anywhere around here, $2, $1.50 to $2 is probably a prime zone for the longer term. So go and have a look at that a little bit more. I think that, under the AI narrative, this could be one that will probably catch a bid in the future. Okay, let's go to a couple more coins. How's Axelar doing? Okay, Axelar is still maintaining this. This is as close to invalidation as possible. It's a pretty decent level. You've come back into the ascending triangle over here, but you're holding above it. That's the key point. What you don't want to see is you don't want to see it break below that ascending triangle. Otherwise, this is considered a full deviation of the trading range. Remember, this is your trading range, and that means you're coming back down towards the midpoint. So as it currently stands, if this is to hold up, anything that you get around here as a longer term buy, invalidation can go at about 63 cents. And then Axelar, hopefully it gets a bit of a bid, obviously following under the cross-chain narrative over there. Okay, what else, guys? Let me know. We can take a couple more requests. I see Say over there. Let's go have a look at Say, Render. Yes, let's have a look at Render as well. First, I will go to Say. Where's Say? Let's see. It's Say. There we have it. Okay, so ascending triangle, similar to Axelar, right? Axelar broke out the ascending triangle, failed it over there. But you do have these previous tops. You can see previous support from the left-hand side, previous resistance. You came back into that level and you are holding it. But the main level to reclaim is to get back above 58. So a lot of the coins, it's going to take time. Anytime you see a strong candle towards the downside like that, it takes a while to break above the order block. But, you have something to work with over here, which is those prior tops at about 50 cents. These wicks must be defended. Failure to defend those wicks could lead to a lower price, right? And there's still that unfilled fair value gap, which is coming at about 37 cents. All right, what was the other one that I just mentioned that we'd have a look at? Now I forgot. Let me scroll through here, guys. Let's just see if there's anything else worthwhile. Let's quickly see how Brett's doing. Okay, Brett already basically tagged the mid-range over there. Volatility, right? That's what you're going to get with the meme coin. So patience is the name of the game. These are more buy and holds, and you just hold on to them. Again, I do want to bring up, let's quickly bring up on DEX tools over here. So just to showcase what I went through yesterday. Let's see. Okay, so firstly, Bird Dog, low cap, doing super, super well, up to 5.77 million. This is the lowest of the the boys club narrative, which I dropped into the whale room yesterday. What is the boys club? Remember, the boys club was by Matt Fury. It was I think a comic that he wrote, cartoon series, with Pepe as one of the lead characters, followed by Wolf, Andy, Brett, and then there was also Bird Dog. Bird Dog is one that I feel most people haven't caught on to. Hence, it's only trading at a $5.53 million market cap. But when you look at things like Wolf, Wolf is also doing very well. And we actually bought into this yesterday on the dip. $213 million market cap. And this is what the price chart looks like, right? Very, very, very bullish, right? So I'm looking to hold this for the rest of the cycle. We have Andy over here as well. They were four friends, right? Brett, Andy, Wolf, and Pepe. And Pepe's obviously been leading the cycle. And I think that, there's no doubt that Pepe has been truly the meme coin market leader, because you can actually look on things like this and you can go on, for example, the yearly chart. And there you got Wolf, you got Pepe, you got Brett, you got Mog. These are some of my top pick meme coins, right? So Pepe up, on the year. This actually did much better the year before, but 1,389%. Brett, who is friends with Pepe, 6,122%. And this is the boys club, right? The boys club that people have, missed. Let's quickly go over here to Pepe and just compare in terms of market cap. So you got Pepe over here. Let's click on that. Pepe, remember, it went to about $11.4 billion market cap. Now lost that. It's just shy of $10 billion. But when you look at these coins, where are they at, right? 274 million. And you're talking about a differential of $9.5 billion in terms of market cap. And that's not even including Bird Dog, right? So you got Wolf. Wolf, similar market cap to what Andy is, 214 million. If these things just go to $1 billion, which I think in a raging bull run is very, very likely, then you're talking about an easy 4x from here. So when you have something that's standing up strong like this, while the rest of the market is coming down, also when the market turns, these things are going to do phenomenally, phenomenally well. So these are some of the coins that I've been looking at. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. A little bit of additional alpha for you over there, or at least something to put on your watch list to look out for. Let's quickly double check as on PopCat. How's PopCat doing? I know there was a request for that over there. So where's our PopCat chart? There it is. Okay, PopCat, personally, I still think bottoming, honestly, right around here. I personally think PopCat is bottoming. You filled the fair value gap, right? There was also a big inefficiency candle over here. This one, I'll mark it off over here. This candle over here. Let's grab that pen again. So there it is to there. This candle was your inefficiency. Price came back, filled that inefficiency, and now we're looking for a major high low to form over here. And it will take time. You have to have patience. It will take time, but show me where else in the world you're going to make, gains like that, 127% in a couple of days. If you confirm the high low over here and you take out into high, that becomes like 150% gain in very, very quick succession. Show me where else you can do that. So I think having a couple of days worth of patience over here will probably serve you well. Another thing that I want to mention, guys, is the scams are on the increase, right? The scams are on the increase. Please do be careful out there. There's, people will often reach out to you using falsified accounts as if it's me. It's not me. I don't reach out to people with a secret trading fund. Please do be careful. Sometimes they'll even go as far as sending voice notes. They have so much data of my voice. It's very easy for AI to replicate that. Protect yourself. Use a ledger. Or another way that you can protect yourself, a VPN. Banter's partnered with VPN. There's a link below that gives you a special discount, 73% off if you want that discount. It's $3 a month, right? It's not foolproof. It won't save you from, idiocracy. If you're going to give all your crypto to someone, a VPN won't stop that. But it will help you with some phishing attacks, right? So please do be careful out there, right? You know, I always wonder how these people it's very difficult to become a multi-millionaire, really. Trust me, it's very difficult. I don't understand how someone becomes a multi-millionaire and they work that hard to get to that point for them to hand it on a silver platter to a scammer. I literally don't understand it for the life of me. But nevertheless, let me put the messaging out there. Please do be careful. Another thing that you can do is, just a benefit for those who are new in the market and you want to win yourself a full Bitcoin. There is a competition, right? There's a link in the description below. Go through to that, read what it says over here. There you go, how to win a full Bitcoin. Sign up using those links. We have Bybit, Blowfin, Bitget, CoinW. Each of those links qualifies you to 5 guesses. And then you can come through over here and you can guess how much you think one Bitcoin will cost on the 1st of January. The closest guess that wins will win a full Bitcoin, right? So you need to put in your prediction, whatever you think it will be. I'm going to go, what would my prediction be given the recent price action? I'm going to say like $103,000. That would be one guess that I'd put in, right? Then you come and you put your user ID in over there. And the way you get your user ID is using the links below, right? That's how we pull the data for the winner. So that's it from me, folks. I'll catch you all in the next one. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day and stay safe out there, and cheers for now.